everybody. I'm Lynn Hardy and I'm going to show you today how to string your guitar the proper way, or properly, as they say in Downton Abbey. Okay. First we're going to take the strings off the guitar. I use this handy tool. It's called a string winder. Now it's going to be a string unwinder. So basically, we just want to loosen the strings at about 8 or 10 turns. See how loose it's getting? These you have to do a little more because they're wrapped tighter than the others.
La 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 la.
Okay, now, sometimes it's hard to pull these out. I don't know if you've ever noticed. There's a thing on the string winder that has a little hook on it, and sometimes if you put that under and pull it up, the pin will come out. But if you're having trouble getting the pins out, let's put a little more light on the subject. You can put your arm in the guitar, find the underneath part of the pin, and push it up from underneath. Here, I'll do another one. I usually do it this way anyway, just because it's easier. And if it's really hard to get out, that might mean that these holes need to get reamed a little bit bigger. Or that the lead slots, these are lead slots. See the little dents in there? That leaves room for the wrappings on the string. And sometimes there's not enough room so that this won't slide. Anyway, we'll just pretend like everything's fine. So now, I'm going to take the strings off. Now, one thing that people do when they string their guitar sometimes is to put their string through the hole more than once. You should never, 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 never do that. That is a no-no. Because when the luthier gets your guitar, it takes her half an hour to get the string off because it's too tight on the post. Just so you have an idea of how many strings I change, that's a lot of guitar strings. And I'm saving them because I can recycle them through D'Addario. But you have to get 2 pounds of them to send them in, so. Okay, now here are my new strings. Yeah, I buy them in bulk, so they're not in a cute little package, but these are D'Addario strings, and they have different colors for each string, so you know which string goes where. And it'll say on the package where they go. The fattest one is the gold one. So that's going to go in this hole. Now, when you put the string in, there's a groove. I don't know if you could see the groove on this pin, and you want that facing the string. You push it in, and then you pull up on the string, like that. And I'm going to do the next one. I'm going to put them all in so you can watch me do that. The reason I'm tugging them is sometimes if you don't do that, there's a bunch of string and the ball end hanging out down underneath. And when you tighten it up here, sometimes the ball end will catch the bottom of the pin and pop the pin out, and it'll go flying, and you'll spend hours looking for the pin. So that's why we tug them, because we wanted to get past this spot here. See, if you don't get it up here, and it gets stuck on that, when you tighten it, it pulls the pin out. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but that's just so you know what's what. There we go. Okay, now we're going to start with the big fat string, the E string. And this is what we do. First we wipe off the peg head that gets all dusty when on everybody's guitar. It's like this. And I'm going to put the string through the hole. And I'm going to leave about 3 fingers worth of slack on the string. 3 fingers. Those are my fingers. Your fingers might only need 2. And you don't need that many wraps on the big fat string, so you could do two fingers worth of slack. Okay, I'm making it go over the top of the post and underneath the string. Then I pull it tight and I crank it backwards. So now, can you see from that angle, or do you have to go to the other side to see it? It's got a little hook, and when you wrap it, you always go counterclockwise. Watch your eyeball. And always keep your finger on the string here, so that when you wrap it, the wraps go underneath the previous wrap. Okay, and then we just cut it off. And when I'm doing guitars, a lot of guitars, I oftentimes will just put all the strings on, then cut them all off at once. All right, I'm going to do that one more time. We'll get the hole aimed sort of this way. Putting it through, 3 fingers over it, in toward the center of the peg head and underneath the string. And crank it back. Hey, balls. And then I wrap it, making sure the wrappings go down the post. One more time. Oh, let's cut that one off. It's good to have a pair of pliers like this to cut the strings with, rather than rolling them all up in circles like Bob Dylan did. Okay, the last one, over the top, underneath. Pull it through, crank it back. Wind, 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 wind. Now I'm not tuning it up to pitch, I'm just getting them so they're tight enough that they won't come off. Okay, now we're going to do the treble side, which is the mirror image of the bass side. So, in it goes, in the hole. I can't see a darn thing. Okay, 3 fingers. Now we're going toward the center of the peg head, so it's coming from the other side, this way, and underneath. And then crank it back. And then I'm going to wind it. Cut it off. Next, one more. In the hole, toward the center of the peg head, tuck it underneath, crank it back, and then wind it up. And when you're winding, you always want to go this way, not this way, this way. How do I put that into words?
String always goes over the top
Right.
from the inside.
That sounds good to me.
You don't want your string coming around this way. You want
Right.
it coming up the inside and then going over.
Right, exactly. One more. Over the top. Underneath. Crank it back. See, when you crank it back like that, it grabs onto the string so it won't slip. And that way you won't have tuning problems. Okay. So after we get the strings on, we'll get it more or less in tune. I have a tuner here in the sound hole. This is a cool thing. Wow, look at that. It's in tune. I'm not going to get it perfect, just a little sharp is okay. Okay, now we've got them all more or less in tune. Make sure these are all in and tight with your thumb. And then we're going to yank on the strings to take up the slack, because there is always slack. And if you don't do this, you'll be tuning your guitar for hours and hours. I'm just lifting them up and stretching them. Be careful with the G string though, because they're weak and they break. I've had them break while I was stretching it. You see how much flatter it is now? And I'm going to stretch it one more time, just for good measure. It wasn't so out of tune now, so it's getting better. There we go. And that's how you change the strings in your guitar. Good luck. I have my fingers crossed for you.